What's going on, everyone? This is Squids here with the Doki Doki Echu Man, and
Doki Doki.
we're gonna be talking Tsukimonogatari this week.
Which, you know what? I Doki Doki'd in my etchy fabulousness for some of this series. It's pretty good.
it's
Pretty good. It's pretty good on the etchy man sensibilities.
you think Suki was etchy enough for you?
Suki was etchy enough for me. Like, I didn't think we'd get more etchy than, the truth brushing scene and all that sort of stuff. Kanbaru flopping around naked and Hana Monogatari. But
Yeah,
we got some etchy going on.
we did, and I honestly, Suki, even for as short as it is probably one of my favorite parts of this series, ironically.
Oh, I'd completely agree with you with what I've watched so far. I really enjoyed Suki.
It almost felt not necessarily more serious, but just the matter of what was happening made it feel like it was more of a. Not that everything hasn't been, because we've had a lot of serious predicaments, but like, I don't know. I feel like anytime we get to see just any action like that, it's like, oh, okay, things are getting kind of serious. There's no humor.
That's fair, despite the fact that we did have I feel like we had a little bit of humor in between serious sections, but we didn't have a lot of straight humor through the whole time. Minus, I do find the etchy scenes in this part of the series very humorous.
Oh, absolutely. I can agree with you on that one. So this one had orange mint as an intro, and I don't know, I'm not the biggest fan of orange mint, to be honest with you, but
I did enjoy it. There are some intros that I do rank lower than it, but it's not you know, um, I don't know the names of all the songs, but Hachikuji's original intro, the one that reminds me of Terraria,
yeah,
is not quite as good as I want to say the intro for fucking the Phoenix arc.
you talk about Platinum Disco.
Yeah, that one's really fucking good. And what's her nuts' arc? Son Goku's arc.
Yeah,
Snakes and Goku specifically.
Renai Circulation.
The reason why I'm Doki Doki Echi man now.
Yeah, he just likes the cute little J-pop songs.
Well,
Yeah.
and Doki Doki Echi man, just it's funny. It makes sense.
Yeah. So this little section here starts off, and I pretty much just got the clips for this one. Because obviously it's not it's one of those ones where there's a lot of dialogue, but it's not exactly a whole shit ton going on until the latter half of it. But
yeah,
we get this nice little Ononoki intro, and by Araragi, looking badass.
that's fair. Our boy be looking badass sometimes.
Yeah. And then they kind of get into this really deep discussion right off the bat about being human versus being an apparition.
As they seem to do a lot, I've noticed.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
A lot of Aragi's deeper conversations happen with Ononoke.
Yeah, even though she's just a doll.
Oh my god.
And yeah. And it's go figure, right? And then
it's a doll you don't need to blow up though.
That's right. She's just there, she does her own thing. And she even has catchphrases. You don't have to pull the string.
Oh my god, dude, her little shit peace. So fucking cute.
Peace.
She is becoming one of my favorite characters.
Yeah. She's definitely one of my top 3 favorite characters of this series. I love her so much.
I don't know if I could top 3 it yet, but she's pretty good.
She's so fucking funny. And then they kind of get to this little cat discussion talk about how learning language. She pretty much gives a comparison about pretty much, just because you learn a language, it's not necessarily because you want to learn it, it's just how you communicate, which is like how she's talking about fitting in with, being human, quote unquote. You know, fit in while you're in Rome, as Shinobu
Yep,
said.
while you're in Rome, do as the Romans do.
That's right. Listen to the little vampire, dude. She gets so snarky the further you get into the show. I love Shinobu.
Shinobu's fucking great too. Like, I don't know, her whole humor, her whole back and forth with all the other characters, it's so good.
Yeah. She's like one of those people that's just out of pocket every single scene you get.
Exactly, it's so fucking good. She's more out of pocket than Araragi sometimes.
Oh, 100%. It's that 400 years of life experience,
Sometimes I wish I had 400 years of life experience because I'm pretty out of pocket, but I could be more out of pocket,
You just had to be there for all 400 years of it,
Exactly. That's why, you know what? Eventually, we're gonna cure cancer, all that other stuff, and I'm gonna live forever, guys.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hate every moment of it because, life is suffering. Life is just suffering. You got happy moments, but life is just suffering. But I'm gonna suffer through it all. And 1,000 years from now, you're gonna be watching something called MeTube, which is gonna be like YouTube but different. It's gonna be all about me. Me, Doki Doki Ecchi, man. I'm gonna start it 1,000 years from now after I figure out how to live forever.
I wish you luck.
I'm gonna need it. Not gonna happen.
Even like Ononoki goes even further on of it, pretty much talking about how, if nobody talks about apparitions, that they're nothing. And, ghost stories told by humans are pretty much just empathy.
Yeah, I do like this reoccurring theme of how, apparitions are given their power and essentially their form based off of people observing them.
Yeah.
Like it's that classic phrase of like, if a tree falls in the woods and no one's around to hear it, did it make a sound? Like, if there's an apparition and no one's there to observe it, is it really there?
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much that's kind of what it is too. I agree. And then we get this like little flash scene where they're at like an amusement park and then a karaoke place and then an arcade. Because, you got to get your goofy scenes going on there,
Yeah, the arcade scenes in this this series crack me the fuck up, dude.
Yeah, arcade scenes are pretty fucking great whenever they're in an arcade. And so, the day ends and everything's Gucci, and, we get the classic Fire Sisters waking up Araragi. And, like, we get this, this alarm clock city going off. Like, he's got, like, 80 alarms and shit.
It's like me trying to wake up in the morning.
Yeah. And, like... what were you gonna say?
Drinking. I said, drinking's a thing, boys and girls, and it makes it hard to wake up in the morning, so don't do it.
Don't do it.
Unless you're sharing a drink on a Saturday or Sunday night watching this podcast, go right the fuck ahead.
Yeah, grab a drink and some ice and just get right to it.
Fucking get as drunk as I am when I first start these podcasts, which is probably more drunk than you'd like to be.
And so after all his alarm clocks go off, like his sisters are still there, and he just like says like thank you and good night. And then he tries to go back to bed, and the sisters just beat the shit out of him.
I liked how these scenes were more of the interactions we got with the sisters from Bake, because I don't feel like we've got a lot of those same interactions.
Yeah.
Throughout the rest of the series.
Right.
And it really helps. Like that's one thing I've noticed about this series, and I talk about it a lot, and you talk about it a lot. But the connections, they really do a good job at doubling back and connecting previous parts of the series with the modern parts of the series in these very small, almost unnoticeable ways, unless you're looking for them.
Yup, exactly. And like your first time through, it's you get a lot of it, but then the more times you watch it, and the more you pick up, it's just so fucking cool.
Yeah, I'm more excited for my second watch through than I am this fucking first watch through of everything.
So you don't have to remember and focus as much.
Exactly, I'll have my notes to help me that I didn't take this time.
You'd have a walkthrough.
Game facts.
Game facts.
You kids don't know about game facts.
Those were the days. And so Araragi even makes this snark comment that I feel like he would have written down if he took notes, where he said, "I'd like someone to make figures of my sisters." Like,
of course, I would have wrote that down.
I know you would have, so I wrote that down for you.
Good stuff. I would get some Fire Sister figures. Real talk.
Yeah. And so now it's February 13th, day before Valentine's Day. And we got the Karen foot tickle, because you gotta have your sister and tickling feet, which ends up turning into a foot lick, because she says tickling doesn't work on her anymore. This whole scene is it's something. So
it's fucking something.
Yeah.
I'm getting flashbacks to this scene as we're talking about it, because again, I didn't take notes. I'd have more memory if I took notes, but my god, dude, the things Araragi does to his sisters and the references he makes to his sisters and the fact that his sisters are fucking okay with it in the first place.
Yeah.
It's definitely a thing. Not for the faint of hearts, but you should definitely watch it.
Yeah. And so, Karen is going to go for a run. So she asks, Araragi if he wants to join. He's like, nah, you run fucking a whole marathon. I'm out of shape. So she's like, yeah, bro, just have my bath ready when I get back. And he's like, I can do that. And
didn't she mention too, didn't he mention too something along the effect of you run like you're always running the 100-meter dash?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. She's just fucking full bore the whole time.
Just flying, and you see that a lot with her because she's out there.
Yeah. And he's asking her why she doesn't join any sports, and she pretty much mentions the fact that she can't join sports because karate won't let her join sports. So if I remember correctly, this isn't I don't think it's Kara, and I want to say it's Suki, but she splits his toenail over some petty shit. And after she splits his toenail, he brings up the fucking he brings up the breakup of the Fire Sister party where all the middle school girls were supposed to be there, and that never happened.
Araragi. You make it really hard to defend you as a character sometimes.
And this is all, keep in mind, I forgot to mention that part, but this is all about who the hell's actually going to take this bath, because of course they're going to start the water for Karen, but they're both sneaky little siblings.
The sneaky siblings is generally a theme of a few of these arcs.
Yeah, and so Aragi's getting ready, and he's pretty much buck naked, and he comes down, and Suki's also buck naked, and
let's wash each other, Oni-chan.
Yeah,
and Oni-senpai.
And while he's stripping and fighting over everything to get in there, she chucks I don't even know what texture it was, but long story short, she chucked that fucking soap bottle so hard that it stayed in the wall that was supposed to hit Araragi's head. That thing literally corner deep into the wall, cracks the freaking porcelain. And oh, alright.
You trying to take my head off, Sukahi?
Yeah, it's what the fuck? So they just decide to soak together.
This scene was a glorious scene, guys. It was glorious.
Yeah,
Like, I can't even. There's a whole lot of hair washing going on,
yeah, and when the
and
soap
a whole lot
falls,
of.
oh man,
Yep. Oh, lots of fucking good, partially exposed breasts covered by soap suds.
yeah, leave the
And,
lust. You gotta leave the lusting bath area.
the lustful bath area. Because, I mean,
Yeah,
that bath area, there's been quite a few little incidents in that bath area. We
oh,
had that
dude,
Shinobu instance.
I was gonna say you could have a whole crime scene in this bath area.
It's crazy, dude.
Yeah,
But
and so you
yeah,
got.
Doki Doki Ecchi Man approves.
Well, I figured you would. So you
I
got
don't.
her staring at his abs, and he's calling her out for it, but she's calling him out for staring at her tits. Well, just a whole fucking conundrum here. And so she's like washing his hair, and she gives him the Astro Boy haircut. Or
Yeah, the references in this fucking series are just ridiculous at times.
the Metropolitan Ordinance, if you will. We come to
I won't, but I will at the same time. I don't know.
and we come to find out from their little chit chat that I guess Sengoku was released from the hospital now.
Yeah, and isn't she kind of sort of pressuring Araragi to go fucking visit her and shit like that?
She was, and obviously can't really tell her about the details of everything that happened before this, so he just kind of like,
Cause Niku Niku Ni, Kaiki said,
yeah,
don't do it.
right, because yeah, and let alone on top of that, the city's already spiritually unstable again, so like, that's the last thing we need is Sengoku to fucking ruin her life.
Yeah, and I really feel like after watching enough of this, our boy Araragi is really trying to take after Oshino Meme sort of as his mentor, and he kind of wants to preserve that balance that Oshino was trying to preserve while he was actually in the city, but he doesn't quite know how because he doesn't have the same experience and training in everything that Meme had.
Right, exactly. So I can't remember if it was Shinobu talking to him in his head or if it was his sister. I can't remember exactly on this scene, but we get that is it really time to be washing your little sister's body right now?
Honestly, like part of me feels like that was him talking to himself in his head.
That probably
I'm not
was.
100% on that either.
And then he fondles her.
Of course he fondles her.
Because
of course he does. I mean, I would in his circumstance too, but
and then out loud he's like, the tub's big enough for a young girl, but not a middle school girl. And Suki's like, what? And he's like, nothing.
of course our boy making those snide lolicon complex fucking
he's like, yeah, you can
comments.
You can fit Shinobu in here, but probably not you.
Call back to the time that she caught fucking him and Shinobu in the tub and almost fucking killed both of them.
That's right. So, after they have this whole conversation, everything's going on, he looks in the mirror and his reflection's gone. Oh no.
Oh no.
What are we going to do about that?
Well, we also have to talk about before we get to what are we going to do about that? There's a whole lot of you can touch my breasts if you want, Araragi. I won't tell anyone. We can kiss if you want, Araragi.
Oh, I was getting to that. Yeah. He covers her head so she doesn't see, and then goes in for the kiss on Karin. On cue.
Not Karin, Sukahi. Oh, wait, yeah, no. I think I just misunderstood what you're actually getting at this point. So, continue.
Yeah, he goes in for the kiss, and then Karin's on cue. She just shows up the moment of this kiss about to happen, and just kicks the both of them straight to hell.
Literally like a what the hell are you doing moment. Like, just like the toothbrushing scene involving fucking Karin earlier in the series, where fucking Tsukiji walks in on him.
Yeah. It's like, of course, right? And
Fucking great, dude. Now he's been caught in precarious positions with both his sisters by the sisters.
yeah, it's a whole family thing, and like I always say, ironically, his parents are police, so
Well, ironically, I'm gonna say if his mom was more involved in the series, there'd probably be some lewd moments with his mom.
you probably aren't wrong.
Like, to be fair, they'd be like, Araragi, son, come take bath with me. And then he'd be like, but mom, your tits aren't the tits of a lolly.
You're not my sister.
You're not Hanakawa or Senjo Gahara either. And you're not Hachikuji.
Get the fuck out of here, Mom.
Come back, Hachikuji!
So he goes back to his room, and he's trying to figure out now what the fuck to do because he can't see his reflection, but he can't get Shinobu out. So of course, he does the good old donut lie to get Shinobu out. But
Isn't this the part where he also realizes like the crack in his toenail's not quite healing yet?
yeah, a little bit. Yep. And after that, freaking, let me see here what I got. So yeah, so pretty much he's got this crack in his toe, and like Shinobu pretty much does mention, that I think you're kind of turned into a vamp, bro. Like if I remember correctly, the toe's not healing, the nail isn't, but the muscle tissue's healing.
Yeah, like the skin underneath the toenail and the muscle tissue healed, but the toenail still split,
Yep. And so what's the only logical thing to do at this point? Ask the only person that's around, Ananoki. So, they set up a oh yeah, I've got that note too about the frog plushie with Shinobu. That's absolutely adorable.
It is so cute.
Yeah, and then by like the end of the
So
scene,
fucking cute.
and by the end of the scene, it's like a whole family of fucking frog plushies.
Yeah, no, it's so fucking goofy, dude. Like I fucking love that scene, honestly. I was sitting there the whole time being like, how could they make like Shinobu more adorable? And then they just added more frog fucking plushies and I'm like, okay, that's how they do it. Just add more frogs.
Yeah, just add more frogs. And
so Shinobu plus frogs equals good time, guys.
Yeah, of course it does. It's probably a figure for it too. I wouldn't be surprised.
I'll have to look that up, but I'm probably gonna be spending an arm and a leg for something like that at this point.
I'll have to ask my cousin because he has like a copious amount of Shinobu figures. So
that's fair. I want to get one with her.
With her, yeah, at Mr. Donut.
Yep.
Yeah.
Where she got kind of the sourish sort of indifferent look on her face, which I mean, I know that's kind of contradictory, but that's kind of the look she gives. Sour indifference.
I'd say it's pretty accurate. I can't argue that. What the fuck is that?
It's kind of the best way to describe it, even though they're kind of contradictory statements.
Yeah. I think Shinobu's existence kind of, contradictory.
Fair enough.
But what do I know,
You know everything. Because you've watched this like 50 times.
Fair enough. So they figure, if we can't reach Ananoki, our only other option is Gain, and
she knows everything.
Yeah. But before we can even make a decision, Gain's already texted to meet at 2. Like, oh,
you know what I love about Gain?
What's that?
She's such a stark contrast with Hanakawa.
Oh yeah.
Because Hanakawa's, phrase, we've said it multiple times, I don't know everything, I just know what I know. And Gain is just like straight up, I know everything. Like,
yeah.
Fuck you guys. Like, Fuck y'all.
Yeah, that's fair. So he's like, okay, cool, I'll meet, whatever. And so we're prepping, and he catches Tsukihiko topless, and gives her the demand for her and her sister to stay at Komburu's house tonight. You two go stay with the illustrious lesbian.
I don't want to do this, but you go get finger blasted by my lesbian friend, who I'm pretty sure at this point in the series still has a gorilla arm.
At this point, yes. Yeah, so it's before Hana, so there's that. So
Because Araragi hasn't hit his fucking 2010s metalcore phase yet.
Yeah, he's not in college yet. No. He doesn't own that nice yellow slug bug.
He is not the front man for like Moss to Flames yet.
Not yet. But soon.
Soon.
So we end up at an arcade. Ononoki is in a crane game.
I fucking love this shit, dude. Because she's just a fucking doll.
Luckily,
yeah,
it's
makes
ironic.
So much fucking sense.
It makes all the sense in the world. And luckily, it's only 100 yen a game. And I love when he first tries to do it. Like, he bumps her and she literally just flops over.
Like a fucking inanimate object. Like, this is the part of the reason why I'm starting to love Ononoke, is just her just overall goofiness. Like, the spins and all that other goofy shit, the catchphrases, and then flopping over like a doll when she's not important to that moment.
Yeah, and like Shinobu's like harassing Araragi the whole time, like, man, you suck at this. And then she's just like, why don't you try dragging her instead of freaking picking her up? And like giving him all these tips, like she's this crane game wizard or something.
400 years, bro.
That's true. And so, $12 or, 1,200 yen later, he gets her. And she's like, shouldn't we, maybe be like talking, and figuring things out at this point? And he just tells Shinobu, is there anything more important than tackling or talking about to this little girl? Like, oh,
that's our boy Araragi right there.
Yeah.
I don't know if we want to claim him as our boy much more longer, but like, we'll see how he gets throughout the later half of the series.
So,
the later third of the series, I guess, at this point.
Yeah. So we get her, whatever, and we decide to meet atop of the cram school. The nice burnt down cram school with Kayuni. And she's up there, and they're about to kind of discuss, what the fuck's going wrong with Araragi. And so, Kayuni is pretty much telling Ononoki to assess his levels of healing, because she looks at his foot right away and she can tell that the muscle's healed and not the toenail's starting to heal now, and it's healing quicker, as we kind of discussed earlier. But we're just to figure out what the hell's going on. And so Ononoki like bites him. Just straight up fucking bites him, and you get the chomper fucking face just to fucking evaluate him. And of course she gets kind of like an evaluation going, and then freaking Kaguni's like, well, let's test this out here too with the moonlight, and she literally breaks his finger.
God, that scene was so brutal, dude. That hurt me.
Yeah. Like, that was like, she's like, oh, it'll be fine. Just focus on the healing.
Just, I don't mind the fact that I just broke your finger and how much pain you're probably in right now, You've suffered a lot already.
Yeah, it's just a broken finger. Let it heal.
Just focus on it. Do some deep breathing exercises. Trace your breath.
Yeah. And so she's like, focus on something that'll motivate you. So what's his motivation? Of course, it's Hanakawa's tits. And that's what he's picturing.
It's always
his motivation for life.
That in Hanakawa's panties.
Yeah. And so, she kind of asks him to, get Shinobu out so they can kind of discuss what she thinks about it. And Shinobu comes out and she's in this cute little dress and she's sitting upon this like makeshift throne on top of the cram school. and freaking Kaione's like pushing Shinobu's buttons and like freaking it's getting pretty brutal and it's just really cute but at the same time really mean, And
Yeah.
it's just like Araragi defends her and it's really cute. He's just like, okay, that's enough. You've gone too fucking far with my poor little lovely vamp.
My poor little lovely vamp that I would instantly, fully molest and have sex with because I'm a weird not cis-con, lolicon kind of guy.
Yeah.
You've gone too far. You've gone too far.
And so, they're going to discuss everything and freaking, if I remember correctly, this is the scene where there's like a snow army going on in the background.
Yeah, and then fucking Ononoki and Shinobu are building snowmen the whole fucking time.
Yeah, and it's like chasing
Pretty sure that's the
Shinobu.
scene.
Yeah, yep. And so, Kaione's like, you've turned too many times, bro. You're leaning more towards vampire than human now.
Yeah, borrowed that power from Shinobu a little too much, bud.
And she's just like, yeah, remember that time you just got your shit rocked 50 times by Sengoku? That didn't help anything. And in a Leighton's terms, they pretty much tell him he can't turn back anymore.
Like, you gotta start relying on your own strength.
Yeah, because if he gets any further turned, or in a degree of vampirism, they'll have to take him out. So,
because she's the one that kills the immortal beings.
Right. So there's that. Like, it's just like, oh, okay, well, shit. And then that's just the end of that episode. Like, what a roller coaster.
It's just it was a really good episode because it really gives you that like sense of, I don't want to say urgency, but
yeah,
it's I can't find the fucking words right now. It's like despair, maybe. It's along the lines of despair that Araragi's feeling at this point, because for a lot of his issues that he's had dealing with, I can't fucking find.
What were you looking for?
I can't find words right now, bro. That's what's fucked up. So the anomalies, what do they fucking call them throughout the whole series that I can't fucking remember?
Apparitions.
A lot of his time dealing with the apparitions, I'm gonna say apparition hunters, but I don't know if I'd want to call that group the apparition hunters per se.
They're more like Shikigami, almost.
Well, like, Mei, Kaiki, fucking what's her nuts, Gain.
Yeah, like Shikigami. Just being
a lot of his times dealing with these type of situations, he's had to rely on his vampire powers because he's just human, man, and he's dealing with these extraordinary beings that tend to have powers and stuff that's almost beyond human comprehension.
Right.
So what would you do in that situation? You would rely on your unnatural powers as they have.
Right. Exactly.
So there's truly that sense of despair, like, well, I've been kind of sort of trying to play Mei-Mei's role, but I'm not good enough to play Mei-Mei's role, so
I don't think it's necessarily the fact that he's not good enough. I think it's more or less the fact that he just puts himself too much into it without processing what he should do.
That's fair.
Because he can rely on his vampirism like a crutch, whereas Mei-Mei can't.
Yeah, that's fair. He hasn't had that sort of sense of mortality
Yep.
that Mei's had.
Yep. Exactly.
Where Mimi's had to sort of get to that point where, hey, I'm human. I have to deal with it this way.
Yep.
I can't just rely on the fact that I'm gonna fucking regenerate. I
Like
can't
for instance,
borrow Shinobu's power.
right? Like for instance, in Neko, when he gets his ass whipped by Hanakawa like 50 times.
Or even like we could go back even further in like the chronology of this and say in Kizu where he's fighting Shinobu at that point and has his full vampirism.
Yeah, that's true.
Or even fucking Sengoku's arc, fucking
Yep.
the Medusa arc, like he gets fucking his ass handed to him to the point of death multiple times, and he's able to come back from it because of his ability to regenerate, given the fact that he's got this sort of vampiric pact with I almost said Shinobu.
Yeah.
I'd give her the Pinobu. Alright. But no, seriously, I'd give her a head pat. Don't think I'm a creeper, guys. I'm not into lolicon characters. I'm into fully developed characters. But
Yeah.
that's kind of where he's at. Is like he's got that sense of despair where now this crutch that he's had this whole time, this sort of ace in the hole that he's gotten to use, he doesn't have it anymore. And if he ends up using it, he is guaranteed to be killed.
Yep. So at this point, obviously, he's just accepted it, and pretty much the method, obviously, to keep it the same is to not use his powers, and pretty much, once they say they'll have to kill him, Shinobu's like, if you kill him, I'm gonna kill y'all, but at the same time, I'm gonna try so he doesn't die and still probably kill you if you try to kill him.
I'd be more worried at Senjo Gahara at this point.
Yeah.
She'll kill the whole world at that point.
Yeah, that's what she says. And frickin' Ononoki wants him essentially to promise that he's not gonna, rely on his powers anymore. And then we get a nice boot strip moe moe. Yeah. Immortality. It's a thing. So
yeah.
he even kind of mentally thinks about how, if it was an emergency, he probably couldn't keep his promise, but that was kind of his mental thought there.
Yep.
And now what we've kind of gotten is Ononoki doing a full exam. And he hopes it's by tongue.
I totally forgot about that, dude.
Yeah, because it's got to be all over his body. It's like, yeah.
He just wants to be licked by fucking lolly girls. That's all it is.
Yeah. And so while we're out there, Kagane gets a phone call, and it turns out that this phone call is Guy. Of course. And we find out
it's always Guide
that we gotta go check on the girls because they might be in trouble.
They may or may not have been kidnapped.
Right. So yeah, and it's this dude that we find out was another one of the last of the Brady bunch of Shikigamis here, and he also kills immortals because he can.
Yeah, essentially he's
she
the
kills him
opposite
because she can, and this guy kills him because it's like a duty, is what I meant. Yeah.
He kind of has a reflection of which one of the vampire hunters was it in Kizu that
Which
killed them more of a duty rather than like vast hatred for him or anything like that?
Oh, the very first one?
Yeah, no.
Guillotine Cutter?
Guillotine Cutter was the last one, wasn't he?
Maybe. I'm trying
So,
to
and
think.
yeah, I was it Guillotine Cutter that went by duty, or was it the first one he went against?
The first one
The
did it
one
for
with
duty. The second one was more slightly moralistic, and the last one was like, because it's his, sole purpose.
yeah. So again, it struck me as one of those sort of flashbacks to previous happenings where we saw that with the vampire killing, one of them ended up doing it more as an obligatory duty. So again, this series has a lot of callbacks and a lot of like looping back on itself on themes and stuff like that. And I wanted to draw attention to the fact that I felt this was sort of a callback between like the different types of characters.
Oh, I just think he's a nerd with
Probably also a nerd.
with severe autism.
And probably the most severe of autism. Like he
Huh.
probably can't even function in normal society.
With a name like Tadatsun, I mean.
Well, it's to soon. To
Yeah, and so obviously, the sisters and Kambaru have been robbed. So, Ananoki is going to be, his passage, with the unlimited rulebook jumps.
Mm-hmm.
And so she jumps, he gets there, and he's a little queasy because obviously, he's not full vampire and everything. Um,
And he
he,
wasn't relying on his vampire power to recover from the fact that they just essentially fucking jumped into the stratosphere and then came back down.
yeah, and then they play detective, and he's like, "Oh, the pills are warm," and then he sniffs them. They were here moments ago.
Who wouldn't though? Like it's fucking
he's
Kabaru and the Fire Sisters.
he's just like, "Oh yeah, they were here a little bit ago." and so and then they find some crane origami, like a phoenix, because he stole the phoenix.
Yep, the
Immortal.
immortal apparition.
Yep. And so we got our boy. We kind of find out holds grudges, because I guess I'm pretty sure they talk about it now. How the fact that he kind of wanted to have Ananoki, but
Yeah, how they kind of both worked on essentially creating Ononoki.
and she wanted mommy, not daddy, or big sis.
Yeah.
So he's got kind of a grudge going on, and they kind of wonder that everything might seem too convenient. But it is what it is. So there's a castle crush in an
Castle Crush.
in an igloo, and rolling snowballs. This is where Shinobu gets trampled. Is this scene here? I got it here. Okay, cool. Yeah, the rolling snowballs, and Shinobu gets trampled, and so they talk a little bit more about the guy, and she pretty much compares him more to Oshino than anybody, I guess, in a sense.
Yeah. I remember that part. I don't remember the Shinobu Castle part, but it's been
Yeah.
a non-note taking time because I thought 4 episodes would be easy, but it really wasn't because there's a lot that fucking happens.
Yeah, and then they're having a snowball fight to the death too.
That part was fucking funny. I do remember that.
Yeah, it was a whole thing. Like, I love that scene. It was just so comical while they're over here having this serious discussion about Tetsune and they're fucking just over here just fucking around, the two kitties, even though they're the oldest ones there, but you know.
I do love that about them, though. They really do portray them still as just children, despite the fact that they've had this long, long, long life compared to everyone else.
Yeah, it's really cool they do that. And so, you know, Ononoki's gonna help him. Because obviously, you know, our girl says, nah, I got some other shit to do. Fuck you. Um, so she leaves, and we don't have to worry about, you know, seeing her for a while, because Kaguni, who cares? I mean, I shouldn't say that. She's a pretty decent character. So
I do like Cogni. I have enjoyed since you pointed it out that she never touches.
yeah, she's a unique
It's
character.
Yeah, and I did like her back in, despite the fact that she was the villain. Was it second season? Or was it the end of Nisei?
It's the end of Nisei for the Phoenix.
Okay. Yeah, so the end of Nisei, she was the villain, and I did enjoy her back then, but I've grown to enjoy her more, despite the fact that she sort of seems antagonistic towards Araragi.
Yeah, she's just doing her thing. She just, you know, probably just
She's
hates
like,
him because he probably reminds her of Oshino.
well, she probably isn't all into people who have lolly and cis complex.
That too, probably.
You know,
and so
probably has a little bit to do with it.
Yeah, and I can't remember if it's Ononoki or Kagune before she leaves. Pretty much tells him that, you know, he probably didn't want your sister. He's probably after you and Shinobu. And she also mentions, I guess before she leaves, I forgot about that. She wants this done before the morning sun comes up. She wants him in bed and everything to be done and this mission to be over with. Like it's like 1 in the morning at this point, so he's got like 5 hours to finish this job.
Well, I think didn't that also have to do with the countdown, essentially, that what's his nuts imposed on him?
A little bit, yeah, but they didn't really exactly know how long the countdown was going to be, if I remember correctly. I think this was more for Gein's.
Well, I thought they had talked about the origami cranes, and they had like calculated essentially how many origami cranes he had created or whatnot. I might be off on that.
Yeah, I think that's later on when they get to the actual offering box. But
I do think, yeah, I might be off. I didn't take notes. You took notes.
So of course we start the next episode and Ogi's there, just conveniently, you know, knowing everything.
Fucking Ogi. And
he's looking for
she at this point.
You know, it is what it is. Ogi's you know, wondering where his little Lolita slave is. And he's talking about, you know, oh, forgot my signature line. And yeah, then we get to see Ononoki doing her snowman thing in the background this time. It's like the snow play just never ends. It's just all snow play, baby.
And we didn't even mention all the spins that happen in this arc. Like, Ononoke spins are the best kind of spins.
That's true. You're not wrong there.
I'm really not. Like, that's like half of the reason why I like Ononoke is her weird little fucking moments where it's like, we're going to focus on Ononoke, but all she's doing is spinning around real quick.
Yeah, she's doing really weird, spontaneous shit. And that's what makes her her. But yeah, we get this really weird conversation with Ogi, and if you think about it, this is the exact same conversation that Araragi has with Kambaru in Hana Monogatari. How he tells him, she tells Araragi that he's matured, and you know, it's verbatim pretty much. Like it's this kind of this really weird conversation, and so
Yeah.
like Ogi told yeah, fuck, it's Ogi.
He or she told
them.
they them.
Yeah.
Wait, it's that month. We don't want to get canceled.
Yeah, we better not. So his sis deals with immortal and living, and he loves he loves dolls. What do I got? That doesn't make any sense. I don't remember anything with that. Oh yes. This is about the creation of a little bit more of the creation of Ononoki, about how they all went together to make Ononoki, and
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And so
And that's kind of that contrast where she ended up with what's her name again, and he didn't end up going along with what's his name again. I
yeah.
don't remember the names. I didn't take notes.
Tattoo.
That'll be a reoccurring theme in this episode, guys. I didn't take notes.
Tada-san. But yeah, and then they talk about how pretty much, they fought over her, and that, Mame is like the only person that got along with him. And this is while they're like, keep in mind, they're like climbing up a mountain right now to get to this like shrine. And while she's climbing up the mountain, Araragi pulls her skirt up.
And she did note that, like, because you do know, you all know she has the infinite rule book where she can jump to any point in any time, it seems. Not any time, but she can jump to anywhere in the fucking world. I don't know what the limitations of the infinite rule book is, but she noted that she cannot use it. So, because as soon as she jumped into that area, he would know. He would just take action at that point and possibly harm the sisters or harm them.
Right.
So that's why they end up climbing this mountain instead of using her infinite rulebook power.
Yep. And, what's that?
I was about to say, and it's a matter of fact, it comes back to the fact that he was part of her process of creation, and he knows her powers.
Well, yeah. Yep. And
then sorry to interrupt again. I think we had this whole discussion too at this point in time where they're sort of trying to plan out how to confront him.
Oh, that's coming up.
Oh, that's coming up. That's not quite yet. Yeah. I thought that was before the skirt scene, because the skirt scene's fucking hilarious.
It is hilarious, but yeah, he's lifting up her skirt and they're like still walking, and like he's like kind of turned on by the lack of shame that she has.
Who wouldn't be, in a sense.
Yeah, and so they're talking about the plan while this is all going down, and how he'll be the decoy, while the girls, Ononoki gets the girls and they get away. Which he's who knows if that would work? He's gonna get killed.
This is the point where they're actually talking about the plan, right?
Yeah.
Because doesn't Ononoke also point out right around this time that, like, I could jump in with unlimited rulebook and literally fucking kill this motherfucker? Like, I'll just jump into him and he will die.
Yeah. But, he's also like, this isn't very convincing story with your panties out. But yeah, she pretty much is like, yeah, I'll use unlimited rulebook right now and he'll die. And, he's kind of creeping her out at this point. With his hindsight, if you know what I mean.
It's always 2020, dude. It's always 2020.
That's right. And like before they like decide to go in there too, he does make that discussion about how he doesn't want her to kill him. To keep that quote unquote humanity going, and she's like, bitch, I'm a fucking doll.
I don't need humanity.
That's right, bitch. I already had that once. And so,
despite the fact that they had, like, earlier in this series a whole conversation about like humanity and trying to be human. This is a
It's
stark contrast.
just trying to fit in,
Like,
fake it till you make it.
well, it's so goofy because she's so willing to give up her quote unquote humanity for Araragi.
Yeah.
And of course his sisters. And I understand, we've at this point in the series we've already gone through everything with Hachikuji. They had their fight. They've talked multiple times about like what it is to be human.
Yep.
But you sort of get this feeling that Ononoke really truly wants to relate to humanity and become human, or as close to human as she can become.
Yeah.
And at this point, she's really willing to give it up for Araragi. I would like to also say, like, again, why Araragi? Why this boy got so much fucking riz?
If I remember correct, I can't remember if they talked about it in this or if it had some Owari. I don't remember for sure, but like, she was human at one point.
So I think this is. I don't even think this is like as late as Arari or this point, because what is she? It's a Sukagami, right?
Yeah.
They explained this, I think, back when she's essentially first introduced.
Yeah, I think Anise, yeah.
Yeah, so like again, she was human at one point, but
Yeah.
she sort of was revived as this puppet.
Yep. And so we get to the top of the hill, and you can see that he's making the origami and folding them into the offering box. And obviously, like you said,
That he's sitting on top of so elegantly.
yeah, and he's folding this origami like it's nobody's business, by the way.
I wish I could fucking fold origami fast, dude. I learned how to make the crane at one point.
Yeah, the crane's not so bad. It's everything else.
Like the dog face. The swan's not so bad either.
No. But so, no, but Aragi's like guessing.
I know.
He guesses,
okay.
He guesses that it's the time. And so we split, and Ononoki starts going to the back, and, Shinobu even, like, makes the reference that, she will suck him to make him more vampiric if they need to.
Mm-hmm. She'll suck him. She'll fucking suck him dry, boys.
Yeah. And so they kind of like, he gets up there and he mentions right away, obviously, because Araragi talks about why he's, kind of standing in the box. And he makes a reference that him and, Kagane both have this curse where they can't walk on the ground, per se, from dealing with things. He doesn't really specify.
See, I didn't catch that he had the curse too, though.
Yep, him and her both have it, and that's why he's sitting on top of the box. Yep.
Makes sense now.
Yeah. And, like, out of nowhere, he's like, gets out of this trance, and he's like, why in the world am I here? Why am I gonna kill you? Like, he doesn't even know the reason why he's, like, even trying to kill Araragi at this point.
This interaction was so fucking goofy, dude.
Yeah, everything he says is bizarre.
This was bizarre to the point where I don't even think I quite understood what was going on.
Yeah.
Because, again, we get this interaction where it's like, why am I trying to kill you? Oh, it's all been planned by this person.
Yeah, it's anger to fill the role. He's like, if you're here and shit's going down, where's Oshino? And he's like, I don't know where Oshino is. Do you know where Oshino is? Nah. And he's like, well, you better find him or become proper. Like, okay.
Yeah, I mean, I might also be thinking too much into this interaction, but this whole interaction just confused me, dude.
Yeah. No, it's very straightforward, like some like AI type text. So like his character, like I said, he's just literally an autistic nerd. He's just
like, I get that he was playing the role,
Yeah.
But at the same time, how was he so unconscious to the fact that he was playing the role? Like, we've never ran into really anything like this yet in this series.
No. Hey, man. It's like, I don't really have
Oh,
any other...
minus the fact that kind of sort of Sengoku filled that role earlier.
Yeah, a little bit. In the very
And I
beginning.
mean, we kind of mirror the fact that they're at that same shrine. So I'm pretty sure that's the same shrine, right? After it's been rebuilt.
Yep, I'm almost positive.
So maybe that's the kind of mirrored callback they have there, because like I've sort of noticed that this series does introduce new concepts,
Yeah.
but I feel that we're at the point in the series where it's more callbacks than new concepts, things that can relate back to previous moments in the series, and I feel like
It's like George Lucas said, it's like a clock. It reflects each other. Just kidding.
you know what else reflects each other?
What?
Two mirrors facing each other.
That's valid.
That's completely valid. But like I feel like it's goofy because I feel like this is a callback, but I also feel like this is a newer concept.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, I get you. And so, pretty much like right after that, Ononoke just appears, and
And
she just absolutely rule books him and kills him.
yeah, without any fucking answers. That's the other part that confused me.
No, she didn't give any answers to him. She just killed him.
Well, no, without any real answers from the dude who is saying all this wild shit.
Oh, we didn't need any answers. In the long run, he just wanted to see or possess Ononoke again.
That's fair.
The timing was right.
But
Ononoke shows up to town, and then he steals her sisters because he knows Ononoke has relations with Araragi because of Gain calling them.
But again, there was also the whole concept of I have this role to fulfill. We're all just fulfilling our roles.
Yeah.
I felt like there should have been more answers there, and maybe we'll get more answers later.
I don't know.
Well, you do know. You do know. But maybe we'll get more answers later, but at this point, I'm confused. Like,
Good.
I really am.
Good. So we find out that the girls were in the offering box the whole time.
All cuddled up together.
Yeah, we somehow fit three
Conbaroos.
girls. Yeah,
wildest dreams.
We somehow fit all three of them into one offering box. And they carry him home, and somehow they don't wake him up, which is and we find out that morning that he can go in the sunlight now. Yeah.
And he got them home in time. That's
right.
another thing that I think's very important for this next part that we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. He got him home in time.
That's right.
And he was spared Gain's judgment because he got them home in time.
That's right. And then we get the, don't become a monster.
Which, isn't that part of the title of the latest season that is going to be coming out? So maybe he does become a monster. Who's to say? Not me. Probably squids.
And then we get some chocolate shoved in the mouth.
God.
Oishi.
I love chocolate shoved in my mouth.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah? That Easter bunny, bro. It might have been my uncle dressed up as the Easter bunny, but he was really good at shoving chocolate in my mouth.
When you get to your girlfriend's house and she shoves chocolate in your mouth, you just take it.
What's a girlfriend? It's not like I've had 10 of those. God.
And then
None of them ever worked.
she calls him like, what the fuck she called him? She's like, koyo. She's just coming up with this weird shit. And she's like, because it's obviously Valentine's Day now. And so she's like, yeah, just come in here. You're spending the fucking night with me. And
So we didn't explain this moment. Senjo Gahara.
Yeah.
You didn't even say Senjo Gahara. We don't even know who we're talking about right now, Squids.
I said Sen. I said Sen.
Did you say Sen?
Yeah.
I did not hear Sen. I did not hear Sen. My apologies.
No, you good. I just cuffed it down to Sen.
This is the cutest, in my opinion, that we have seen Senjo Gahara.
I agree.
So fucking cute at this point.
Well,
I'm just like, I can't even handle it, Senjo Gahara. I can't even handle it.
It is Valentine's Day.
Well, it's like, so throughout this whole series, we've seen her sort of softening up.
Yeah.
And I'd like to say it's because of our boy Araragi and their relationship together.
Oh, it 100% is.
But this is the softest we have seen her, the most girlfriend we have seen her, the least tsundere we have seen her.
Yeah. Yep, no, you're totally right.
And I love that. I love it.
Me too.
This was that moment. Fucking Senjo Gahara. Like, all my characters, she's the waifu of this series.
Yeah. And so after that, he explains the whole situation to her. And, he doesn't know if he can, be calm. And, like, he compares himself to Kaiki. But, thighs. He's, like, working himself up. And then thighs.
Thighs.
And then she's just like...
ideology, as I like to call it.
Yeah, and she's just like, shut the fuck out. Just embrace me. And that's how it should have been.
That is how it should have been.
And so then
it's Valentine's Day.
Exactly. Just shut the fuck up and embrace your girlfriend.
And have relations with her that we've sort of hinted at, but haven't actually full out said we've had relations.
Right, yeah. And so we've got the changing sisters, the freaks, and Ananoki was caught in the crane machine again by the sisters. And she is stuck under Suki's loft area.
Mm-hmm.
And so now she's pretty much stuck. I mean, she was already pretty much stationed there, but now she's stuck at the Araragi household as Suki's doll as a disguise. And I think the best part about the ending of this episode was Shinobu pretty much saying that it served her right. Fucking bitch, serves you right.
So I do think the best part of this episode, and we touched on it earlier, is the fact that Tsuki
completely
just sort of acts like a doll, like she flopped around.
Oh yeah, no matter what the girls
just...
do. Yeah, and like Suki, he's like, yeah, let go of my doll, you fucking motherfucker.
No, Araragi, you're supposed to fondle me, not my doll.
Stupid boy. And yeah, that's pretty much the end of this part of the story.
So, I would like to ask you.
Yeah.
Now that we're at this point in this series, we're getting real close to, getting to the last part of it.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you personally have noticed this run through, being someone who's watched it multiple times?
Yeah.
That you didn't notice the first time? Anything new to you that caught your eye?
Mostly just minuscule things like references, since I've gotten better at my reading of hiragana and shit. But other than that, nothing too crazy. No.
Okay, 'cause that was one of those things that I was very interested to hear your perspective on because you've watched it multiple times.
Right.
You know, there might be little callbacks, little references that I didn't catch.
If anything, for me, it's mostly just how I interpret it. The older I get, and the more I watch it, from different perspectives in
Okay.
life. You know what I mean?
That's fair because fucking prime example. I watched Code Geass for the first time when I was like, I don't know, fucking 19 years old.
Yeah.
As a 19-year-old, you don't understand the political ramifications of
God.
what's
Especially
going
that
on
series.
in something like that. And then I watched it recently again as I like to say about a 30-year-old was I think the last time I watched it was about 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And my God, dude, like it's the best part of the series.
Yeah. I know that some of that adult stuff's the best part of the series, the older you get and the more you relate to certain aspects of it, And that's the cool thing about the
Yeah.
shows. There's so many perspectives and aspects and characters you can relate to that it just adds up.
And that's the cool thing about a lot of series. Like we'll reference even Western series. Like, you go back and watch the cartoons that you watched as a kid. You don't realize how much is kind of sort of shoehorned into there to appeal to adults.
Yeah.
Like one example I always like to bring up is Jimmy Neutron. First, it was a movie. Then it had the series, and in that series they had multiple TV specials. One TV special that sticks out in my mind that you wouldn't get as a kid, but sort of more get as an adult, is the episode where the pants come alive. And you have Jimmy sitting there with his starch gun looking at Cindy's pants as Cindy's pants are running amok, and he says, well, Cindy's pants are going down. That fucking cracks you up as an adult, but like as a kid, you don't even fucking remotely understand why that's funny. It's just
Right.
part of the episode.
Yeah. Yep.
And I think that comes into like I never watched this as a kid, but when did Bake air? Is it like 2012? You said I think.
I want to say it was 2009.
So 2009, I would have been a 17-year-old kid at that point.
Yeah.
Like I would have got some of the references, but I wouldn't have gotten all. Still not innocent because I wasn't fucking innocent at fucking 17 years old, but like ignorant to certain things,
Right.
certain concepts.
Yep. That's just it too. It's great.
And I think I'm probably going to ask you this again as we finish. What's the last part of the series again? Zoku
Owari.
Zoku Arari.
Yeah.
As we finish that,
And
I'm probably going to ask you this question again.
That's fine. And then we'll
because
we get to start off in Monster weekly.
Exactly. That'll be fun. I mean, that'll be that. It's one of those things that it's gonna be fun, but at the same time, it's gonna be a chore because we're fucking grown ass adults and we have jobs and other obligations.
No, it'll be fine. I'd see.
It'll be fine.
It's only 20 minutes of video to cover.
But also, well, so 20 minutes of video to cover, dude. When we did Chain Soldier, our Chain Soldier video twice as long as the episodes.
That's fair.
Like, for real. But it'll be fun to cover.
Yeah.
What would you give it for a rating?
I actually give Suki a 9.
See, I'd give somewhere like an 8.5 a 9.
Yeah.
Like, I really did enjoy it, but I feel like it's a lot of plot condensed down into 4 episodes.
Yeah. Yep.
So pacing for this one was a little weird for me.
Yeah,
But
there's a
like
lot.
8.59 is right where I'd put it. I love the animation. I loved the character growth. It's just I feel like it could have been maybe even like just one or two more episodes.
That's fair. But yeah, it's definitely one of my top ones. Ironically, for how short it is, it's crazy. But you know, it is what it is. But yeah, I guess that's pretty much all we got for this one. So, any last words for the Squidnum?
Stay Doki Doki and watch lots of ecchi
That's
and read
right.
lots of ecchi. That's what it's got to be. Stay Doki Doki. Remember Doki Doki Love Power. So
And
you
with
know.
that, with that, let's just end that because let's not keep that cancer going. All right, so we'll see you. We'll see you all next week.
We'll see
Bye.
y'all next week. It just remember you could have cancer or you could have Doki Doki Love Power.
All right. Bye bye.